old Chinese kung fu films, or even more modern takes on Chinese kung fu. Um, Back in the day, like in the 90s or even in the 80s, when some of these movies were presented overseas, like in the United States, for example, um, they would change the name, and the first one would be the second one, and the second one would be the first one. That's been known to happen. But what I enjoy about Jackie Chan is the fact not only does he do his own stunts, the fact that he's, when he was younger at least, he was willing to take chances and do things that many people back then wasn't doing. And you gotta commend the dude for always putting his own spin of comedy and action into it. That's what I really enjoy. And that Jackie Chan really deserves to have his honorary Oscar. Speaking of Jackie Chan, I don't know how y'all felt about the remake of The Karate Kid, but I thought it was pretty decent. I wanted to see where they would go further with the characters. I really enjoyed how Jackie Chan himself, in the remake of The Karate Kid, was, he showed off his drama skills, how good of an actor he is. And I wanted to see what they would do if they would do a second one, how it would be. But that never came to be because Jaden Smith's career went in a total different direction. But you have to admit, Jackie Chan, he's a great actor, a great comedic actor. His action movies are very good. If it wasn't for him, in my personal opinion, we wouldn't have people like Tony Jaa. Because Tony Jaa, he does his own stunts too. But Jackie Chan kind of set that mark as a action star of doing your own stunts. Do you want to see what part I'm at in the movie? I'll show you. Hold on. Again, I'm watching Jackie Chan's Operation Condor 2, Armor of God. That was a cool little trick he did. I tried to do the live stream earlier as I was drinking my coffee, and it was very much random and rambling. But it didn't actually live stream, so I'm having to do this again. Well, with the previous stream, the stream I tried to do earlier, I talked about the Jackie Chan and everything like that, but I also talked about my love for wrestling and how I felt about uh, Monday Night Raw this past week, or this week. Uh, I thought they did pretty decent. It was much better than the week prior, in my opinion. I think what's going on here is the fact that they have really good competition with AEW. Having good competition helps with putting fire in the bellies of the performers. And I've said it time and time again, and I will continue to say it. The best performances come within the storytelling confines of the ring. You do need the mic segments, don't get me wrong, but you don't need to fill up your show with constant mic segment, mic segment, mic segment. What needs to happen is this. You need to have an opening match, or this is what I would like to happen with WWE. You need to have an opening match, and then maybe a mic segment, but make it more like a fight in the ring mic segment, and then another match, and another thing that needs to happen with WWE Raw in particular. They don't need to constantly have it be no disqualification. No, I didn't mean no disqualification. I mean they don't need to have it end in disqualification finish. I hate those. Every now and then, when it calls for it in the storyline, that's great. And then you have the surprise roll-up finishes, which WWE constantly does. And, but I do have to talk about the good that WWE has done with the past Monday show. Now, I thought the match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus and Damian Priest was really the best part of the show for me in particular, because it established Damian Priest for sure as a more a major star, and they need to continue pushing him. But I'm going to call it now, in classic WWE fashion. The next match he's going to have is going to be probably with Drew McIntyre again, and Drew McIntyre is going to win. And that's going to be 50-50 booking at its best. He won the previous match, so you're going to have Drew win that match, but not for the title. But I don't think personally Drew should have a title right now. Drew McIntyre is at his best when he is hungry and going after titles. Don't get me wrong. But I want to see people like Damian Priest, Finn Balor, even John Morrison have more of a spotlight and title run per se in the WWE. So yeah. Thank you for whoever is viewing this. I appreciate it. If you want to join the conversation, go right ahead and ask me a question. and I'll give you my opinion. But just remember, it is my opinion, and it's neither wrong or right. It's just an opinion. I also was talking about the fact that me and my family have been in quarantine for a little bit here and there. I'm feeling better. I was fully vaccinated, so it didn't last that long with me. And then you have my younger daughter, which she got it from somebody at school, brought it to us, and yada yada. So, with that said, I'm able to get good health care because I'm disabled, and because of the American people. I have an income, and I have an insurance. And I think everybody should have insurance. I believe in universal health care. And the reason why I do is because I see people like my wife, which she's the one that had got sick the worst out of all of us, right? So she's on the mend, don't get me wrong, but she's still suffering from a real bad cough, minor body aches, but she's still feeling it, you know, like a lot of people are. You have the lead singer of Korn, which had COVID, and now he's having to perform while sitting down and getting oxygen between songs. Now, he has money. He has the ability to go out there and get himself better and get help. But he probably, who knows how it affected him. He probably won't be 100% better. But he still has the ability to go out there because of him being, number one, famous, number one, having money. So, but then you have people living paycheck by paycheck by paycheck, living on Social Security, which for me, I don't get very much with my Social Security, even though I've been disabled all my life. I still don't get very much. And when I was living on my own, I basically only had $3 left after I paid all my bills. There I go rambling on about that. But anyway, so what needs to happen is very simple. We need to legalize cannabis, take the tax money from the cannabis, use it to help universal health care, use it to help people get health care. And I believe anybody that works in the United States should have a form of health care, should be entitled to see a doctor. And with legalizing cannabis, you can take that money and make it a possibility, make it a dream come true. And also with legalization, you can use it to help out with the roadways, the waterways. We really need to fix the water systems in America. I mean, as many of you might know, Flint, Michigan is a very big example of what needs to be done. We need to do that all over the United States. And then you had Florida a couple years ago, or even a year ago at that, dealing with potholes because their infrastructure is so outdated. Their water structure is so outdated. I remember a couple years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine that works, uh, he worked in Baldwin County on the board of, Baldwin County, here where I live. I was talking to him, and I was like, why did you get rid of the swimming pool? There used to be a swimming pool here for the public. This is before the pandemic hit, before anything like that. They bulldozed over the swimming pool, right? Well, with that happening, I was just sitting there thinking, these kids, disabled kids, can't go swimming. And he was telling me it's because they didn't have funding to make it more wheelchair accessible. Or at least that's what I was initially told by this person. And that's everything in this messed up world. It comes down to, you have things that need to be done, right? But everybody blames it on funding. Well, legalization in many of these states has proved beneficial for the states. You have Colorado saying that they were able to make it better for the school systems because of legalization. So, with that said, could you imagine if we legalized all around the United States, how much better the infrastructures and the school systems would be? But then you have the negative side of things. You have people saying, well, if cannabis itself is legal, they will be more youngsters smoking, right? They will be teenagers smoking. Well, with it being legal and more open like that, you will have more of a way to regulate what's coming in and out. Whether I would rather see the product being regulated, being well kept up, because you don't know who you getting it from and what they're doing to the plant. You really don't know. So, if it's legal, you can make sure the plant is good, the plant has been well kept up, and not saying it would be better for the younger generation, but it would be better for the younger generation, because then they wouldn't get poisoned, they wouldn't get tricked, and they wouldn't just get it out of strangers' hands. Yes, that can still happen, but it would just be better to have it more regulated, like you have alcohol regulated, you have tobacco regulated. Don't get me started about tobacco. Tobacco itself is so messed up. We don't even have the pure plant anymore when you go in to buy cigarettes. You have all these other things that's been put into the tobacco. And I'm going to be honest with you. If they did legalize cannabis to a degree, I do have this fear that big tobacco would do the same exact shit that they do to the tobacco leaf. They would do it to the planets to cannabis. But still, I think it would be better for legalization. I mean, legalization, and it would help also because we can study the plant better. We can make better medicines out of it.